Welcome to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. I am your host, Brett, and joining me, giving his definitive review of Doctor Who, the FLUX, and the subsequent two specials is...
Me. Hello.
Hello, me.
And I just want to add, it's definitely FLUX under duress. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh. And also joining us, promising a massive rant for episode 237, going over and reviewing the Doctor Who Redacted and other things is...
Hello, it's Legion.
And also joining us on this misadventure through FLUX for the second time for us and for one time for somebody else is...
Hello, I'm Humphrey.
All right. So in this episode, we are going to have the definitive review of the FLUX featuring the FLUX master himself, Liam. So starting us off, we have the FLUX, which is Chibnall's grand idea to have a classic-ish version of Doctor Who in New Who era. And just out of curiosity, do you think he pulled off the serialization well, Liam?
Not really. I mean, as you've said, or as you've all said, cliffhangers, and even then, vary in quality. I think he pulled off some cliffhangers okay, but generally speaking, serialization, not so much.
All right, so let's just set the stage. So the three of us got a very interesting message on the WhatsApp group, and playing in the background was the introductory scene, and I know this because it is forever burned in my brain as the worst CGI known to man in the 2020s era. I mean, high school production videos have better CGI than this thing. But we were greeted with a message with that introductory scene with Carvanista talking to the Doctor and Yaz, and Liam is saying with this playing in the background, "This is so boring." You hit play and you were already complaining.
Yep.
He is basically the human iteration of Marvin.
Thanks.
Brain the size of a planet, and they get me to open a door.
Well, what can I say? It's unrecognized greatness.
All right.
Something like that, mate.
So we begin our journey on Halloween with the Halloween apocalypse. It says on the synopsis, on Halloween, all across the universe, terrifying forces are stirring from the Arctic Circle to deep space, and ancient evil is breaking free. And in present-day Liverpool, if the life of Dan Lewis is about to change forever, why is the Doctor on a trail of fearsome Carvanista, and what is the FLUX? So
you're really doing this.
As this was the introductory story, what? Oh yeah, I told you. I'm getting more than 45 seconds. So out of that whole synopsis, that is a lot going on. Did you find this? We've talked about it. I was very optimistic for this first episode. Yes, there was a lot of stuff going on. Yes, there was lots of introductory characters and whatnot, but I'm just surprised. We're going to get to the epic fail when we get to the very end, but with all of those juggling things going on, what did you think of it coming into it, having listened to us discuss this, knowing how it's going to end, but how did you feel about all of these things that are being interwoven?
I honestly thought it was too much. Even so, it was too many plot threads, not enough characterization. And I swear, again, one of the biggest bugbears throughout this entire 8-episode run so far, I swear I keep hearing the eternal phrase in the audio description, the Doctor scans X with her sonic, or the Doctor sonics something. Oh my God,
yes.
Can we just not do this? Are you that incompetent and useless to look outside, walk at the TARDIS and go, "Oh, trees. Oh, no, I'll scan it first. Oh, yeah, it's Earth." Like, just...
Do you know what, though? The thing is, back in the day, do you know how the Doctor used to find out where they were?
Scanner.
Look at the TARDIS console.
Or
There is a readout.
One thing that Jodie actually did, I can't remember what episode it was, but where she tastes something. Is it a bit of dirt or a rock, or she licks something?
Yeah, that's like the Weeping Angels. She eats the dirt.
I've got an offensive comment coming, but I probably not cut it out. It's fine. I won't say it. But like, you know, back in the day, the Doctor would do anything bar just scan the stuff with the sonic. You know, he would do that kind of thing. Smell the air, look at the dirt composition, look at the rocks, look at anything, or even just, or just, you know, anything. Just bump into somebody. Oh, excuse me, where are we? What time are we in?
Rome.
We're in blah 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 blah. Where have you been? You know, kind of a response.
Yeah.
And what does she do? Oh, get my sonic out.
So, hang on. I just want to hear Liam's sonic screwdriver sound again.
No, that was Jodie.
Oh, don't worry. That's going to be a drop.
Oh.
Because that was a beautiful, beautiful...
Why do I do this to myself?
But the funny thing is I would be okay if she used a sonic as long as she says, you know, according to the TARDIS databanks, we're here, and she walks out of the TARDIS and goes, I don't think we are here. And then you can scan with the sonic or something like that. But I don't like you've just barely come from a very highly technological box / entity to, let me just whip out my hammer and just see what the hammer tells me I am at.
Hammer time.
Solid as a rock. I'm in Iraq.
Yeah, I just, God. No, can we please destroy the sonic?
Here's a couple of reviews from the Time Flux because people did rate it. So for the Halloween Apocalypse, this one says, I see no rational plan at work here. The designs are eccentric, the work is random, and the tunnels being excavated, they are without purpose. Yep, that's about sums up a lot of people's feelings about the series. However, I won't deny there are clearly people who enjoy the Flux. I wish them well, but I can't say this series did it for me personally.
I mean,
that person is correct.
Again, it goes into the whole thing of, perfect example of that, where they go in, like they go into Dan's house. Who just knocks,
space plumbing?
You know, who just knocks on a door and then walks in anyway?
Very true. Very true. And then on top of that, somebody reviewed this, and I hadn't even thought about this until I read this person's review of the Apocalypse elements. You know, they talked about the introductory scene, which I've referenced many times with the horrible CGI, but it's very interesting. This person really broke down that scene because it was full of high stakes to open a season. So you knew it wasn't that big of a deal. I was like,
if only that was
wow.
the apocalypse. If only that was the apocalypse element. You know, we would have had, you know, the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn, and if only.
So I want to point this out because this person did an amazing job of like nitpicking and trolling Chibnall right here in this review that they gave a 1 out of 10. So again, this is I gave the general feeling for it just a second ago, but I love what this person does afterwards. So it says, the opening scene is full of a stupidly high stakes, which have zero meaning because it's the opening scene. Also, not to be a nitpicker, but if the sun is going to engulf the planet in 4 minutes, it's going to be burning things already.
Yep.
Chibbers, remember how 42, in 42, everything got hotter because of the proximity to the sun. That comment blew my mind. He's already written an episode featuring a sun that is going to, destroy everything. This planet, I did not even think about that for a second. He wrote both episodes, both featuring suns that are going to engulf the planet. And one, that just blew, I'm sorry, I'm still dumbfounded by that whole thing. That just is amazing how stupid the writing that Chris Chibnall has done.
Because that, as the guy said, if it was 4 minutes away, you'd be already dead.
Yeah.
And the other stupid bit of that scene is the whole trampoline thing. Like, how does that work? The TARDIS must have known, or are we doing another Legend of the Sea Devils? Oh, look, gang! This is when we set up later. This is when we prepared earlier, and just have the whole thing of the stupid net. Oh God, there's just so many stupid things in this series that don't make sense, that have no plot or actual mention of, or they just appear. I mean,
the only thing that was missing from the trampoline scene would be the Looney Tunes sound effect.
Yep. Or the Poxy Choco Brothers. To me, to you, oh God. I mean, even that would have been kind of passable.
So, just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts of, I'm just going to go through some of the characters that were introduced in the Apocalypse element. So, Carvanista, what did you think?
Yeah, not bad. Grumpy, but bearable.
Liam likes grumpy people.
I know, I'm like, wow. He's just like, he's listening to Carvanista. He's just like, he mirrors me in so many ways. I love this person.
I want one.
I want a man-sized bitter dog too.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I can walk down the street and make smart quips. It'd be great.
All right. What did you think of Swarm and Swarmette?
Again, not bad. Bit of a pointless scene with the whole renewed thing, because that basically came of nothing. Like, what was the point in that scene? What did it actually set up? Literally nothing. Granted, the second actor sounded a lot more menacing. Again, it had potential, but it just wasn't used, wasn't realized. Swarmette, what was the point of her? Like, she literally just didn't do anything at all.
No, she basically mooned after Swarm.
Yeah.
She's like, ooh, yeah, go Swarm.
When you're a bedazzled villain, you need a bedazzled
Villainette.
friend.
Cheer leader.
Even so, yeah, a pointless character.
What about Dan? What did you think about Dan?
I like Dan, but I think the reason I like Dan is because I like John Bishop. Likeable, but again, even then, there's nothing to him. There's nothing to his character except that he's a very, very nice bloke.
He's a decorator, apparently.
Is he?
Apparently so, yeah.
What? Like, yeah, he's a police officer?
Yeah. In all the promotional things, Dan is portrayed as a painter and decorator. And in the first ever episode, we see him doing precisely no
Well, hang on a
painting or
minute. I'm sorry, but
decorating.
if he was a painter/decorator, he would not be poor. He would be loaded. Because they don't exactly...
Yes, he would.
Maybe he's not a good one.
Is that why he's not doing any single bit of painting and decorating?
Either that or he just loves going down to the Liverpool Museum and giving lectures. Like, it's just like, he has like job list a mile long and he's just like, nah, but I need to go down to the Liverpool Museum. Who will be able to tell people about the history of Liverpool if I'm not there?
I don't know. Maybe the museum?
And they're like, Dan, we asked you to paint one room. One room, Dan, and you've not left in 7 years.
Don't worry, I'm getting to it. But if only they would ask me
to... paid you, now go away.
If only they would ask me to paint the Liverpool Museum. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, maybe it was like a secret kind of... secret sort of like, oh, well, if I hang around long enough, they'll give me the gig.
Exactly. What about Vinder? What did you think about Vinder?
honestly fairly forgettable, if you ask me.
I mean, at least in the first episode, I could see that.
I think his partner made more of an impact on me than what he did, honestly. Is it Belle?
That's only because you found her attractive.
Oh, she had a nicer voice.
That's
granted.
only because you were, wondering how many more centuries she's going to have this baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
What about Claire?
I like Claire, and again, she was a very interesting character, and I like Jericho. They're both very interesting. Like, Jericho was way more interesting, he has way more of a presence, I thought, on screen, and honestly, I feel they should have killed Vinder off and kept Jericho. Claire, again.
I love Jericho. Is just, if they undo something, undo Jericho's death, because he was such a good character.
Like I said, he had gravitas, he had an on-screen presence. He was a good character. Claire, again, very interesting.
Did you think that they forgot about her character?
They did, completely, because it was, oh yeah, well, she's dead, and then she turns up right at the end of episode. What the was that? Come on. No, she was dead. Oh, no, she's fine. Any like hint of the plot or reasons for why she's there? Oh no. Oh, hello, Claire. Okay then. What the actual is that about? Did you forget that you killed her off?
All right. Last character I'm going to ask you about before we move on. What about Dan's love interest, Diane?
Some people just keep getting treated like shit, and yet they still go back to them. Dan is one of those characters. Like, she dumped him because he apparently was late, and even though he turned around to her and said, "Oh no, I was abducted," or whatever, or and you
you were abducted,
like you were abducted as well. Oh no, it's fine. So then, because you didn't come pick me up, bye. Like, what? Sorry, love. But...
All right, last character before we move on. Joseph Williamson.
Creepy old man. There you go.
All right, so what would you rate, not the Flux, what would you rate the Halloween Apocalypse episode?
3 out of 10.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot higher than I would have expected. Just out of just to let you know, the average timescale fan gave this episode 6.5.
Okay.
So from there we go to the War of Centaurans, and obviously this features the Centaurans as well as Mary Seacole. What are your thoughts about this episode?
See, I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to, having read reviews and listened to you guys talk about it. Again, it's got some good elements, and I was talking to a friend about it, and they said overall, that the Flux is good if you take certain elements and like those elements. So, for example, the Centaurans. Yeah, the Centaurans are good for the most part. Acted well and, kind of typically sort of Centaurany-esque approach to things. But, again, a little bit comical in places, a little bit stupid, but also at the same time quite nasty, which is nice to have them back and actually have them more of a threat than what they were in the Moffat era. But on the whole, a bit of a stupid episode again. Like, every Centauran shuts down for 7 minutes to recharge all at once. I mean,
yeah.
isn't that a little bit convenient?
Yeah, they don't
Come on,
do
boys,
it in
nap
like
time. Just for a snooze.
We're going to interrupt this war for a strategically planned ad break.
So
what did they do? Take a leaf out of the book of the Spanish and go, it's siesta time. All right, let's go for a sleep. Like, just
Hey.
like, no, like, I don't know. I like, is it Sarah Parrish as Mary Seacole?
Sarah Powell.
Powell, that's it.
She was in the 5 people you kill off in Middlesbrough,
yes, and
wasn't
she's been in several Big Finish audios and stuff. And yeah, she's a good actor.
Yes.
I think what she was given, she played with well. Again, some stupid lines, but and again, just the whole.
What
morality.
did you think about Legion's favorite line of the entire War of the Centaurans.
What, the whole horse thing?
Yeah.
It worked.
I thought it was funny.
Again, sort of comical, but it works.
It's just
I thought the most stupid part of that episode was the whole sweet shop scene, honestly.
Chocolate.
Yeah. And again, just the Doctor's moral compass is all over the place, bitching at people for killing off, for that person taking... they're in a war, and they've just killed off a bunch of people. What do you do in war? You don't go around handing out roses to each other, do you? Going, here you go, fellas. Just...
Hey, 70,000 wrongs doesn't make another wrong.
I summarized the 13th Doctor's moral compass the other day on Twitter very, very succinctly. And it was all previous Doctors, no, don't sacrifice yourself. We will do it. You run, you have a life to lead. Please don't sacrifice yourself. 13th Doctor, bye.
Hashtag runaway dust. Yep.
So, just out of curiosity, did you hashtag anything, and did you get any feedback from that?
I got a few likes, and I think Liam retweeted me.
Liam, you're on Twitter again?
On the fringes.
He is.
Wow.
He's like a wraith in the night.
Props to you.
Oh, I don't look at anything. I just see the occasional tweet from Legion.
So, here's an interesting thought. Somebody put in their review on the timescales that the War of the Centaurans would have been a actually legitimate good Centauran story, but because it had to feature the FLUX, it brought it back down. What are all three of your guys' thoughts on that?
I would agree.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would completely agree. It, take out the FLUX element, it would be a fun standalone Centauran story.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about, because according to this, they had to integrate the FLUX so that they could have the Centaurans take over part of Earth's history. So we have that, which has, again, never been paid off. So I'm looking at the centenary to pay off the fixing of this whole thing.
Oh, and also
either
as
that
well,
or we go to Earth 2.
And also as well, the TARDIS. Has that been fixed? Is that dying? What's happened to that? Like, there was no mention of just... Like, what's happened to the TARDIS?
Oh, don't worry. Eventually, they just wave a wand in episode 6, and it's all better then.
Yeah, right, okay.
Granted, doors are opening or are coming out of the wazoo in the TARDIS's nether region.
Yeah, and then you got all this weird gunky black goo. And I'm sorry, but if that was anything else and you were spurting black goo, you might want to go see a doctor about that. Just saying. But
the Doctor is flying the TARDIS, so
I don't know.
So, what would you rate? Oh yeah, did I ask you what you thought of Mary Seacole?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
What would I rate War of the Centaurans? 3.5 out of 10.
Oh wow, interesting. I feel as though that you're gonna be stuck at that range, because according to the people on the timescales, this got the average rating of 7.6.
I can see that.
So now that leads, yeah. However, I will tell you, I actually agree more with Liam's 3 point, because if you recall,
you didn't like.
I did not like this episode.
No, you didn't. I do.
I think you and Humphrey both liked this a lot.
Yes,
and I was like, no.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. The next episode, Once Upon a Time. We have the fall of Atropos. We get the Ruth Doctor, I believe.
For 30 seconds.
It makes them
for 30 seconds. We get more of Vinder's background. But what did you think about this one?
Boring. Utterly boring. Dull. Uninteresting. A mess. Not a fan. Couldn't care less about Vinder's backstory. Just dull.
We also get Tactune in this, don't we?
Yes, we do get Tactune in this.
Yeah, I think briefly, isn't it? for a little bit. And
I want to read this. This is funny off of the timescales. So this person gave this a 6 out of 10. And they start off by saying, okay, once upon a time, a story that almost gets somewhere.
Yeah. It's a whole load. It's 50 odd minutes of corridor chasing just to sort of end up where it started. Plot progression. No.
what would I give Once Upon a Time?
Oh, is Once Upon a Time when the murder happens? Or because that's the scene change, Attack of the Scene Change.
It was a murder?
Yeah, there's that one guy that came out to kill Dan and Yaz, and oh wait, no, that's in episode 5. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. It's
Oh no, that murder scene is freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
just not that you can call murder hilarious, but it was a murder written as comedy.
So, what would you give?
What would I give Once Upon a Time?
1
out of 10. Honestly, just nah.
So the average timescales gave this episode a 6.2. All right, episode 4, Village of the Angels, which we get introduced to Professor Jericho, reintroduced to Claire, kind of, sort of. What are your thoughts about this one?
Easily the best episode of the entire run. Hands down. Best atmospherically, best musically. Plot was actually fairly on point. Again, if it wasn't for the FLUX, it would have been an amazing and probably one of the best Weeping Angel stories in a long, long time. And I'm sorry, but it shows because it was being co-written by Maxine Alderton, and you can see what scenes were written by Chibnall and what scenes were written by Maxine Alderton. It is clear as a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Love the whole Rogue Angel element. I really hope Big Finish pick up that maybe in the future. They could easily do like a box set or a spin-off with, not just one Rogue Angel, but a bunch of them breaking away from the collective. What do you call a group of angels?
Choir. It's a choir of angels.
And have like a whole bunch of Rogue Angels doing their thing.
You could make it into a Christmas, like a Doctor Who Christmas songs. 12 angels roguing.
Angels weeping.
11 Santarin Santaring. 5 Dalek bumps. Oh, sorry.
Drop.
All right.
But no, I
5 slurs.
I do feel like the Village of the Angels was the best episode, and I liked the character of what's her face, Hannah?
Claire?
Was it?
Oh
no.
Oh, the girl. Yeah.
Well, the woman, the older version of her. Again, that was well realized. Didn't like that annoying couple. Is it Harold and what's her face? The sort of put on abused wife and the twat of her husband. But no, I think as a whole, and again, as you said, Brett, it's obviously introduces Jericho. Again, Jericho, an interesting character, actually has an actual presence on screen. And part of me wishes that actually it'd been, I don't know, maybe Yaz or even Dan left in the past, and it was Jericho who traveled with the Doctor. I think that would have been a lot more fun, honestly. I feel he was way more developed.
I like Kevin McNally.
Yeah, there you go. Claire and Jericho as companions. That would have been interesting.
It would.
Because I would have loved to have seen the relationship between the Doctor, the TARDIS, and a rogue angel on board for a bit. That would have been interesting.
So what would you rate this episode, Village of the Angels?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? All right. So I'm impressed.
Wow.
You actually have a rating higher than that of the timescales. I'm going to read this review because I'm curious, because every so often I know Legion brings up like directors and stuff like that. So this person gave Village of the Angels 10 out of 10. And they start by saying, when I saw the name James Magnus Stone pop up, I groaned. Stone's directional decisions are frequently the weakest part of episodes he directs. Praxeus, his first episode, is one such example with way too many quick cuts. Fortunately, this time Stone succeeded in bringing the script to life effectively. The Weeping Angels are extremely threatening here, and there are lots of cool ideas and visual striking shots. The characters are well realized and developed. There is edge of your seat tension throughout the second half, and the cliffhanger is very good.
Do you know what ruined it for me though? Like why it doesn't get higher than an 8 is the stupid post-credit, mid-credit sequence scene. If it had ended with the Doctor being turned to stone, I feel that would have been a perfect end, but it wasn't.
Remind me what the post-credit end
was it something with Vinder? Was it Vinder or Bell?
Oh, it was. I
Was
think.
it?
Yeah.
It just took away from the cliffhanger.
Yes, it was Vinder meeting Neil from the In-Betweeners.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And yes, it did. It took away from it. Jamie Magnus Stone, I mean, he's directed a fair few in the 13th Doctor's era. He will be directing the Centenary. It's Chibnall trying to put his own mark on Doctor Who and failing spectacularly 9 times out of 10. Isn't it? Let's be honest. He's used directors that had never been used in Doctor Who before. That some have been pretty good. Like the direction of Villa Diodati.
Which one?
The direction of Villa Diodati is very good. Very atmospheric.
The director of let's see, Villa is Emma Sullivan.
She's a good director. But it's, again, Chibnall's come into this, he's put his own mark on it. He's got writers that, apart from Maxine Peake, clearly don't care about Doctor Who. They just care about the paycheck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And ticking boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that this, out of his run, is, quite frankly, the best rated of the FLUX by fans. And it's not written by Chibnall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not completely, no.
Yeah. Timescales gave it an average of 7.7. All right. Next, we have Survivors of the Flux, which I thought this was funny. So on the timescales, somebody who rated this a 6 out of 10, this is their beginning of their review. Exposition. Well, at least it was entertaining and had a lot of neat visuals throughout.
Yep. It was basically Indiana Jones and the woman who can, quite frankly, beat Indiana Jones, even though she has no idea in archaeology.
Oh, yeah, Yaz. And, I forgot. What did you think about, what is it? The Grand Serpent.
Oh, boring.
Oh, and Unit, yeah.
I couldn't care less. To sum him up, narcissistic small fry, frankly, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it would be... Here's my curiosity. I felt as though they were trying to write a worm tongue type of a character, or like a Littlefinger from Game of Thrones or something. Somebody who is just a weasel. But it was like Chibnall is like, I'm going to write a weasel. And he got halfway through it and he's like, all right, I'm done creating my character and let's just continue on.
But what characterization have you done for us today, Chris? I drawed a picture.
I pooped in the toilet.
Good. Well done, Chris. Have you given him a name? Yeah, he's going to be the Grand Serpent. He likes snakes.
Pretty much. It just...
Okay, Chris.
So, what do you think about Unit being brought up in this? Do you think Unit was in here for him to be like, see, I didn't completely destroy it?
Pretty much. See? All the fans I don't listen to anyway, I didn't destroy them.
I've not shattered all of your dreams.
Well, it's funny because I wasn't thinking about it until just like while we're talking about this. But Chris Chibnall almost was just like, Torchwood kind of had the, a reason for it being started and stuff like that. And yeah, sure, there was the Yeti and this and that. But you know what? I'm going to actually give it its proper behind-the-scenes creation story.
I'm getting angry just talking about the FLUX.
And if I was Kate, right, she's like, oh, I've known you all along. I've known what you are. I see through you. Well, why didn't she just surreptitiously go, oi, psst, boys, get your guns, come here, and just gone in and just shot him.
Shoot him in the head.
The problem would have been dealt with.
Well, I mean, I will get Chris Chibnall's back for that one. The Grand Serpent did have like agents on the inside that were loyal to him, so perhaps she wasn't sure who she could trust.
Well, I mean, she's capable. Why didn't she just do it herself?
Because then she'd like vomit a snake up.
Oh, well, never mind.
So I'm so excited to ask you this next question. Actually, so I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to follow up with the second one. So what is your rating?
2 out of 10.
All right. So the average timescale rating is 5.8. So now here's my question I'm so excited to ask you. So at the end of this episode, Tech Tayun is killed by whatever. I already forgot what they're called. Swarm. And the doctor's about ready to be killed by the swarm. However, we forget that the doctor can just step out of the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did you think about that?
It doesn't even need a response.
I've got this new move for you. She's veering slightly to the left.
Oh, damn! I missed. Oh, I've got to charge up. It's going to take you 2 hours to charge up. Bugger you, Doctor. It's just.
You really must stop buying our space lasers from the Space Laser Refurbishment
from
Center.
Space Walmart. Yeah, no more. Damn you, Swarmet.
But it saves us 20 million quintarchs. We don't use quintarchs.
Got my space laser at Poundland.
I know, right? Oh my God, have you seen the advert for Poundland? It is so bad.
No.
Oh,
and
terrible.
Brett obviously hasn't.
No, but it's
terrible.
terrible.
I have not.
Brett's just there of an evening. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at UK TV ads.
All right, so that leads us to, again, sidestepping the swarm, and then we have the Vanquishers, which is the last episode of the FLUX, which is supposed to complete the entire story arc, because of course it does, because that was the whole purpose for doing this whole classic Doctor Who storytelling. And yeah. What are your thoughts, Liam?
How do you think the story was wrapped up?
It was wrapped up like a 1-year-old trying to wrap a present.
I could put it more succinctly like that. It was wrapped up like a 30-year-old fat man trying to wrap a present.
Yeah, just an absolute piss poor show. Resolve, really. Like a monkey could have done it better. Just, Claire's back. She dead? Nah. Are we going to see her again? Probably not. How's she back? Who cares?
How's she back?
Well, then Jericho should be back then, shouldn't he? If she's back, so can Jericho. Oh, and the TARDIS is healed, and the universe is kind of saved, but is it? But is it?
But not really, because it's not.
Not really, but maybe. But, it'll be fine. There's a whole bunch of other universes that we can go into anyway, because, well, that's been proven now, because it's a multi-universe thing, and it's now in the show, so who cares?
So here is this review. This is so funny. So it says, the finale of the FLUX story leaves you feeling confused. Confusion about the plot resolution, confusion about the threads of the plots that were used as a thing to simply throw away and confuse overly the entirety of the FLUX. Chibnall once again proves his writing is at best, quotations, best, when he leaves characters simply in scenes to stand about and only speaking when the story needs them to agree with what the Doctor is saying, or when they need to ask the Doctor what's happening.
Yep.
And again, oh yeah, sorry, Carvanista, your whole species has been genocided. Oh, sorry, Fielder.
Yep, it's
just
But don't worry, at least I destroyed a lot of Daleks and Cybermen and stuff like that. I was really appalled at all the Centaurans that were killed in 4 episodes before. But you know what? Now I've just watched wave after
Yeah, it's fine.
Now I killed them. It's fine.
You know what I'd love?
My moral compass is screwed.
Wouldn't that? Do you know what would be funny if somebody would recut and put like on YouTube, like every so often, parts of this, any 13th Doctor era, and around the Doctor's neck is a little compass that says moral. And they superimpose somebody's hand to pick up this moral compass, and then it just kind of like tilts over to death, and it's just like, all right, boom, doing that.
Yep.
What we doing today, Yaz? Murder.
Do you know, when she regenerates into David Tennant, the first words out of his mouth are, I want him to hear, or I want him to say are, oh, I'm sorry, guys, what the was I thinking?
I'm really disappointed with myself.
Look what happened when I went. I told you I didn't want to go.
Yeah, I'm back now.
So that's an interesting thing. I want to just put this on pause because a lot of people are believing that Ncuti Gatwa will not be the 14th Doctor, but will be the newest Doctor, meaning that some people are implying that David Tennant would be the 14th Doctor. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, the more rumours I'm seeing, which, can I just say, I am loving the rumours coming out of the new RTD era because they're not far-fetched. I mean, some of them are far-fetched, but they're plausible.
Yeah.
It's like RTD is the big fat spider in the web, and he's slowly giving out threads, and he's like, I'm going to get these people guessing I am. And then when I've caught them in my web, I'm going to eat their fandom, and they will return to me.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the more people talk about this, I think, yeah, the more plausible Tennant is to be the sort of 14th Doctor type, not Tennant, but...
Well, he's got a new sonic screwdriver.
Different costume.
He's got a new outfit.
Probably new TARDIS.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Jodie's TARDIS.
Huh?
The prop is
is
Jodie's
it?
TARDIS.
Interesting.
Not the inside, but the actual prop is
so
the 13th
it's
Doctor's
okay.
TARDIS.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I'd be fine with that because we know that Ncuti is the next Doctor, so we know that Tennant isn't going to stick around forever. And if it's a different, and again, I think this has got a lot of weight. If it's a different sort of incarnation and a little bit darker to Tennant, cool, down with that, go for it. And if all these specials are basically him putting right the stuff that Jodie did or didn't do or whatever, or making up for those massive mistakes, I can get behind that.
Well, I mean, one of the big persistent rumors is that we're going to have a mini series, isn't it? A 60th anniversary mini series, which is going to be David Tennant's Doctor, but featured as well is going to be Matt Smith's Doctor and Peter Capaldi's Doctor, which, when they were doing all the filming in Camden, I love the fact that Peter Capaldi was just trolling all the fans.
Yep.
Because he was just, people were, like watching David Tennant doing these scenes, and Peter Capaldi would just be like walking through. Just be like, hi guys.
Hey. Yeah.
What you watching?
Or, I've just popped over for a cup of tea with Rachel Talalay. Why? Because I can.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he was doing. You're like, come on.
Don't know. I'm up for that. I think I genuinely am hopeful for this next era.
There's an interesting bit, and I know you stopped reading DWM, Brett, but there's an interesting bit in the latest DWM, which is Marcus Ahern, and he's obviously the new not the new. He's been the editor now for a good few years, and he's discussing being on set with RTD at Bad Wolf, and he's like, it's the first time in 5 years that DWM has basically had this access and has felt welcome.
Wow, really?
What?
Yeah. And then there's bits from RTD in it who basically said, I'm not giving you updates yet. However, sort of around about August, September time, I'll start giving you production updates, and I will give you as much detail as I can.
Like I was saying to Legion a while back off air, it's telling, isn't it, that the producer and showrunner of the show has so much control over a brand. I mean, okay, people can argue, it's Doctor Who, it's the BBC, they're the ones that have the control. Well, no. Look at DWM, look at Chibnall. No marketing, no access. And I think that's down to Chibnall. Why would that be down to the BBC? It wouldn't be down to the BBC, would it? It doesn't make sense.
No.
So the only person or people who, would have cut access off to DWM, for example, would have been Chibnall, not the BBC.
I think he just wanted to be in his own echo chamber. Like, whatever he was doing, it was great. He surrounded himself with people who told him he was great, and there was no dissenting. I don't think you should do that. The whole that one spoof that I sent you guys about a year or so ago, that entitled Chibs or something like that, where they're just like, I was thinking,
yes.
Maybe instead of just like huge spiders, we could Planet of the Spiders, and like I don't think that conversation ever happened, because first off, I don't think the people who were doing things were Doctor Who fans that are in the writer's room. And second, I don't think those conversations happened because like nobody would dare question him. It was like, I hired you because you would say, like, I don't know about any of you guys. I was in my teaching job. I got put on a team of teachers to make decisions for the school. And I was chosen because people thought that I am just a yes person. So they would come up with an idea and everybody would just be like, yes. And I like looked at them, I go, no. And they're like, well, no. Like, you don't understand what we're doing. I go, no, I completely understand what we're doing. I don't think this works.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing because I started getting like disliked because I didn't agree with, I was not a yes person.
So basically what you're saying was it was basically Chris Chibnall and the Yes Men, like a really bad 80s band.
Yes.
Oh my God. I am forming a band and I am calling us Chris Chibnall and the Yes Men.
There you go. And no, but I genuinely do believe, right, that he got the name from, for the pating literally from like that scene. What should we call the monster?
Oh yeah.
WhatsApp sound goes off.
Ding.
Ding. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That works. I genuinely think that was the brainchild behind that one. Genuinely.
Oh, totally. And then, like you said, they came up with the Battle of Whatever by what you said, him face planting into his typewriter. I'm like, that's good enough. That looks like words.
Do you know what that is? That's first draft genius.
Yep.
First draft, also a last draft.
Yep. Rating for what was it called again? Not Survivors of the Flux. Ravagers, Vanquishers, something or other. 1 out of 10.
Wow, that's really
No,
quite
sorry.
high.
1.5 out of 10. 1.5 out of 10.
Well, that is quite high. I don't even think I rated it.
Yeah. So the average rating for people on the timescales is 4.8. This was the worst rated out of all of them on the timescales. So now let's quickly, the Stalker of the Daleks. What did you think about that?
Duckliam.
Yeah, Duck. Oh, I forgot about that scene. I just...
Oh, I thought you said Talklium. Oh.
No. Duck.
I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, so did I. Like, I like the idea of the Daleks. Cool, give them rapid fire guns, but they could... they should have killed them easily.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but First World War machine gunners were better than those Daleks. Like, they should be put to shame.
Do you know what those Daleks were? Do you know what they were in a previous life?
Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they were stormtroopers. Definitely stormtroopers.
Yes, they were.
Because they were bloody useless.
Let's just take a pause, because I just saw this interesting list. And I do love myself a list. So
We know you love yourself a list. Go on. This must be a juicy list.
So this person has rankings
List me,
of
baby.
the New Year's special. So I'm going to list off all of the New Year's specials that have occurred. And, one of them is an out there New Year's special. I want you to give rank from best to worst. So I'm just going to give them in random order. So Eve of the Daleks. Actually, I'm going to do this in a specific order. Eve of the Daleks, Resolution, Revolution of the Daleks, Spyfall, End of Time Part 2, and this person put this, and I really like this. It takes place on New Year's Eve, the Doctor Who TV movie.
So I think the Doctor Who TV movie came at the top of that list. No, the End of Time Part 2 came at the top of that list, followed by the TV movie.
Followed by...
Spyfall.
No, I'd say Resolution.
So what would you put it instead of guessing this list? Because I will tell you what the list is.
I would put End of Time Part 2.
Yep.
TV movie, because I'm a sucker for the TV movie.
Yep.
Spyfall.
No.
Resolution. Revolution. Eve.
Interesting. What would you do, Liam?
I would do the same, but I would transpose Spyfall and Resolution around.
Okay. I would put, and this could surprise you. So, number 1, End of Time Part 2, just like you guys. Number 2, Doctor Who TV movie.
Oh,
I hate myself for I hate myself. I hate myself for that. Should never be on number 2 in any list. But yes, I hate. Yeah,
the power of the dark side. Right. Anyway, but yeah, go for it.
Number 3, Spyfall. Number 4, Eve of the Daleks. I like a good Groundhog's Day episode, and then I would do Resolution and ending with Revolution of the Daleks. And I'll give you the order that this person did it in. So number 1 on their list was Doctor Who TV movie. Number 2 on their list was Eve of the Daleks. Number 3 was Resolution. 4 was End of Time Part 2. 5 was Revolution of the Daleks, and number 6 was Spyfall.
Nah.
That person's
disagree with that.
Yeah. And I'd ask Humphrey, but he's away still. So further thoughts on Eve of the Daleks, Liam?
Just none of the characters were likable, honestly. I just, just that whole thing of, I mean, who keeps trophies of their exes in a warehouse? Yeah, that's got major
Chris Chibnall.
Major serial killer vibes. Granted, I watch a lot of true crime, but that aside, you definitely need to go to therapy. And then just the whole ending. Oh yeah, mammy, yeah, we're going on a holiday. Well, you won't be returning from that holiday, love.
To deepest, darkest Peru.
Yeah. Emphasis on the deep and the dark bit.
Chris Chibnall's next episode, Murder in Blackpool, Part 2.
Wait. Yep. Nah. Like I say, Daleks would have been cool if they'd actually been able to hit anything more than a poxy barn door.
I mean,
oh, wait.
Think about this. Is Chris Chibnall admitting to previous crimes he's committed through movies? He's killed somebody in Broadchurch. He's killed a mass load of people in here. And then one of the characters is taking trinkets of possible murdered people and putting them in a warehouse. Is he basically like crying out to MI5, catch me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Next week on Discovery Plus, Faking It Special, Chris Chibnall.
Yes, I'd say watch that. Yes, please. I love Faking It. So good.
So what would you rate Eve of the Daleks?
I have to rate it same as the Vanquishers, 1.5 out of 10, honestly.
Wow. I think that's just you just wanting to give it a bad ranking. I don't think that's actually how you feel it.
No, I do.
The average rating of this on the timescales is 6.7, which leads us to the last one, Legend of the Sea Devils, which, just out of curiosity, I want to throw this out to Legion and Humphrey real quickly. What episode was worse, The Vanquishers or Legend of the Sea Devils?
Oh,
Oh.
that's a tough one.
I personally, I didn't care for either terribly. But
Hang on, just
at
do me a
least
favour,
Legend
Hump.
of the-
Say that again.
Hmm?
Your mic, you're not very close to it. There you go.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Just
is that better?
yeah, but say it for me.
I didn't care for either particularly,
Oh,
but at least Legend of the Sea Devils actually had the Sea Devils in it. And to be fair, I can't speak for visually, obviously, but I thought vocally they got the Sea Devils very well. You know, I thought they did good voices. And,
What was
and
the
everything.
monster?
Um,
What was the monster
so-
thing called in the Sea Devils? Because it did have an actual name.
I can't,
it did. It was a
Is it like a
Chinese
I can't
Huang,
remember.
like a Huang Hu Sha or something? I genuinely can't remember what it was
Just
called.
one second, because I was hoping. So I need you to finish Legion off. Say your safe word to him.
Cavoisier.
Pull me out the oven. I'm done.
I really hope you didn't say that to your wife, Lidge. Just saying.
No, I said this isn't where I park my car. If anybody gets that reference, I'm hoping somebody does.
But
Dude, where's my car? No?
I actually think
No, you're a trip.
Okay.
I actually think that Legend of the Sea Devils was marginally better than the Vanquishers because at least there was some good, you know, the concept was interesting even though it was poorly executed and it had the Sea Devils in it, whereas the Vanquishers was just...
I'll tell you why the Legends of
Yeah,
the Sea Devils
I would-
was better
And
than...
sort of. No, go on, Liam.
I tell you why Legend of the Sea Devils was better than the Vanquishers. Because of the music.
The music was
Oh, the
fantastic.
music was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really, really was.
Out of the entire 8-episode run, that sticks out to me for that reason. The music in it was really good. Rest of the music, honestly, kind of forgettable.
I saw something on YouTube that I didn't even notice, and didn't even notice it the 2 times I watched it to prep for the review of it. So they land on, where the Sea Devils happen to be. They're all in period piece costumes. Dan is even dressed up like a pirate. But the doctor has not known where they are until she takes out her sonic screwdriver and scans. So they're already preset to be dressed for this episode without knowing where they are.
Yeah, that's rather bizarre.
That's convenient plot
Well, again,
armor, isn't it?
Isn't that kind of like what Chibnall's done on a number of occasions? Trampoline in Halloween Apocalypse. Again, Legend of the Sea Devils, that random net. Oh, look, gang, this is one I prepared earlier.
Yes.
Do you think Chibnall was watching Blue Peter on loop and just kind of got a bit tied up?
Yeah.
Oh, that was it. He was marveling at how good Peter Purvis was in the role in Blue Peter, and actually as Stephen, and thinking, oh, why can't I write like that? Again, the whole annoying thing about Legend of the Sea Devils, right, for me was this kid, this so-called descendant of what's her name, Li Bao,
Jing-hun?
Lao Bei.
Jing-hun.
No, Jing-hun was the pirate. The guy he pushed off the ship was...
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Lei
Yeah,
Bao or
Ying
whatever.
Wei. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, Ying Wei.
So this kid Ying Wei is obviously his descendant, and Yet he swears revenge on Madam Ying?
Ching?
Madam Ching. And what does he do at the end? Oh, she offers him place. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll come with you. After, like, the entire episode wanted to kill you, he goes, yeah, all right, now I'll come with you. Why?
I mean,
ridiculous.
Didn't you just love, though, that the thing that they were looking for the entire time, he just happened to have been given it, and it was a necklace that he'd been wearing the entire time?
Oh yeah, and the doctor couldn't figure out or pick it up, or she didn't get any notification from a sonic screwdriver that was probably like right by him the entire friggin' time.
But neither did the Sea Devils. They were like had higher tech things to try to figure certain out, and they still
Didn't they have a
couldn't find
device?
it. Yeah,
They had a device to find it.
Oh,
And literally at the start of the episode, they should have just switched it on.
yeah, they were prisoners being held by the Sea Devils, and the device probably like within pure inches still couldn't pick it up.
no. It's like the Tom back in the 90s. It just didn't work.
Turn left into the river.
Yeah,
You are now
at your
in
destination.
the river.
Plough through that field of cattle.
It's just like it's just like that one time. Was it in Tom where they screwed up one of the updates so badly that I think the city of the state of California was labeled as the ocean or something like that, or misplaced.
No, they're just preparing
Yes.
for the future. So
Oh, right. Terrible episode, really. Terrible writing. I mean, we spoke enough about the Thasmin plot, so that doesn't need to be gone over at all.
So
and
what
again.
did you
Oh, and
think
again.
about the Thasmin?
Oh, yeah, because the plot was there all along, and I'm the stupid one because I didn't see it. And it was clearly there all the time, right?
So this episode, like we talked about, was like 47 minutes long. And again,
Yeah, I'm
did you find that they were just scraping the barrel to fill in the 47 minutes?
I'm glad this was as short as it was because it was
Yeah.
boring, honestly. It was uninteresting. It was the plot. Well, there was no plot. So I'm glad it was 47 minutes and not 55 to an hour, which it would have been. I mean, it clearly shows. I mean, again, the bit where they're at the bottom of the sea would not be that well lit. It would be pitch black if they were that deep and that far down. No. Maybe phosphorescence at a push, sure. So there should have been a glow, but it should not have been brightly lit like that. At the bottom of the sea, you should not have seen.
There is something beautiful about this. The fact that a blind man is complaining about visuals.
I don't
I mean,
care.
granted,
It's a valid point.
here's probably what happened. Chris Chibnall was on like his second marathon run through of watching SpongeBob SquarePants, and he was just like, "It's bright down there."
Yeah.
I love SpongeBob.
So do I. However, Fairly Odd Parents is better.
Yep.
So what would you rate Legend of the Sea Devils? Don't you dare say 1.5 because you gave that to
Yeah,
Vanquisher.
yeah.
So you know.
I'm giving this a. Now, and I want to preface this with a reason. I'm giving this as high of a rating as I'm giving it purely for the music.
The music was phenomenal.
So I'm giving this a 4 out of 10, purely on the basis of the music alone.
All right. So with that, I told you I would get more than 45 seconds out of you.
Yes, and we have got...
You managed it.
So we get from one rant from the FLUX to our next promised rant, Doctor Who. Well, that will conclude this episode of the podcast. Thanks again for downloading and listening. If you listened to this for a second time because it was on the YouTube channel, give us your thoughts. What was your experience with exclusive content on the YouTube channel for at least about a month or so? Unless I did it earlier, and for which this would be to episode 238. But that's not what I'm planning on doing. So give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Email the show. Tweet the show. Please stay tuned for future content, as well as go back and listen to some of the archive, because then that would no longer be available. Go listen to some of the older stuff. Give us your thoughts on that, any of our discussions, our debates, our arguments, and our silliness. That being said, thank you again for downloading and listening, and we will see you in time. You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.
Oh, get my Sonic out.
Ugh.